Dear children, I hope the first two parts of the chapter are very clear to you. Now it's the third part of the chapter. Let us see what is left in this part. The narrator checked and rechecked his calculations because he was trying to find out the small islands in which direction they should move so that they can reach the island. Then they had lost their main compass and they were using a spare compass which had not been corrected for magnetic variations, so he could not calculate the exact position of theirs. Then, but still he made an allowance for this, that okay, whatever we have to continue with that only. So he estimated with that compass which was not showing correct direction, and influence of the westerly currents which flow through this part of the Indian Ocean. He had to see the direction of the wind also, the speed of the wind also, everything he has to calculate. About 2 p.m. he went on deck after all the calculation and asked Larry to steer a course of 185 degrees. And he told that if we were lucky, they would reach, though he was not sure. Okay, he did not believe in his calculation and he was not sure that he will be successful in finding that island. But still he told that if we are lucky, you never know, if luck favors them, they will definitely be able to reach to that island about 5 p.m. And then with a heavy heart, because he was not very much sure, so he was having a heavy heart. He was upset that even after trying hard, maybe he won't be successful in reaching to that island and he won't be able to save his family as well. He went below, climbed on his bunk, a small bed, and amazingly dozed off. Amazingly dozed off means he had no intention to sleep, and in such situation where it was the matter of life and death, how could he sleep? But he felt asleep because he was very much tired after working so hard for so many days, day and night. When he woke up, it was 6 p.m. And when he realized that it is 6 p.m., it means they must have definitely missed the island, because he had calculated, according to his calculation, they must have reached at 5 o'clock to that island. But even after at 6 o'clock they could not reach, it means they have missed. Then at that moment, a tousled head appeared by my bunk. So, tousled head here, it means a head with untidy hair. Already they had faced a storm, and who had the thought of combing the hair? They had no time for all these things at all. So, then Jonathan came and asked the father for a hug. And the father couldn't understand that why the child is asking for a hug at that moment. Then the son replied that he was the best daddy in the whole world and the best captain also, because being the captain he was able to bring them to the island and he was successful in saving their lives. Then, though, because he was not knowing that they had reached to the island, so he refused and told the son that I am afraid I am a good captain. So then the daughter said, why, you must be, you are really a good captain, because we have found the island because of your calculations only. What? I shouted. The narrator couldn't believe. So it is out there in front of us. When the children said that it's out there as big as a battleship, so then he rushed on deck and gazed with relief in the stark outline of the Isle Amsterdam. He noticed that okay, he was able to see the outline of that island. He felt such a big relief that ultimately now their life will be saved. And it was only a bleak piece of volcanic rock with little vegetation. Very little vegetation was there, but still it was the most beautiful island in the world for them, because that island was the hope of survival for them. Then they anchored offshore for the night. They rested there, and the next morning all 28 inhabitants of the island cheered as they helped us ashore. So then there were 28 people living in that on that island. With land under my feet again, my thoughts were full of Larry and Herbie. Now, the narrator, when he was on the island, he was thinking about Larry and Herbie, those who accompanied him in this unfavorable situation and continuously helped them in coming out of this adverse condition. Then cheerful and optimistic under the direst stress, and they were continuously optimistic. They did not lose hope that they won't be able to safeguard their lives. And then he started thinking of Mary, his wife, who stayed at the wheel for all those crucial hours, and she also did not give up. Then, most of all, he started thinking of that 7-year-old daughter of his who did not want to worry the parents about a head injury, which subsequently took 6 minor operations to remove a recurring blood clot between skin and skull. So that injury was not a minor injury. She had to undergo 6 operations for that injury, and then also the child showed such bravery and courage. And of a 6-year-old boy who was not afraid to die. And then he remembered his son who said that he is not at all afraid to die, even though when the death was just fast approaching. This shows courage and their optimism and the unity of the family in adverse. So the lesson which we learn from this chapter is that if we all are together, then we can face any situation and we will definitely come out successfully. Okay, so this is the end of the chapter. I hope it's very much clear to all of you. Thank you.